Good morning, ladies and gents, and welcome to the Late Invoices show. I'm Matt Pearson. I'm joined by my very good friend and co-host, Cameron Hall. How are you, sir?
Hello, man. I'm good. How are you? How are you? By the
Good.
way, it's a cold morning, mate. I don't. People that can't see on the video, mate. I'm in a jumper and a hat with my Spider-Man slippers on,
You've got
and
Spider-Man slippers, bro. That's
gift
so
off my parents. Yeah,
Love that.
exactly. It's so on, Ron.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm wrapped up, bro. But is it cold where you are? Is it
It is, but I
you know?
saunaed before this call, this thingy.
Okay.
So I'm feeling semi-warm. But yes,
Okay.
it's cold, it's rainy, the weather is very miserable. I think all over Europe now. I heard Amsterdam airport was shut down because of the snow. It's
Mm.
been cold. It hasn't stopped raining for 2 days. But we smile and we move. You are my ray of sunshine, Cameron.
Oh, thank you. You too. You too. Although
Um,
I am getting, I feel like I'm getting a bit ill though. You know, like where you just feel it, like my
yeah,
throat is like a bit tight, and I'm like, oh god.
you need to get an early night tonight, mate. You need
Mate,
to
the
get an
strepsils are already out,
Are
so
they? Okay.
yeah.
That's when you know it's legit. When the
Yeah.
strepsils come out. Which
They're actually
flavor?
just
The honey ones, lemon and honey.
well, the yellow. So
Yeah, they're the best. They're the best. Anywho, how was your week? It's Friday for those listening. How was your
mm.
week? Talk to me about it. Let me know what's been going on.
It's a good week. We spoke about our goals in the previous
Yeah,
episode, so I've been sticking to that. You know, I did
nice.
3D for the last couple of days. I've got to say, man, like every now and again, I think when you're learning something, you every now and again you're just like, this is hard. You just have that
Life's
like,
hard, mate. Life's hard.
yeah, but like you're learning and you're like, why don't I know this yet? Like, there's a very particular part of it that I'm like, God. So I think eventually when you've been learning for a long time,
Mm.
eventually you need to just go out and do the thing for real because the rest of the stuff comes from like experience and going, oh, that's the thing I don't specifically know, instead of
Yeah.
just kind of like learning in general. So I think I've hit that point where I'm ready to just like start making like a shitload of my own stuff, and then I can figure out those gaps in my knowledge and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but
Nice.
I'm happy, man, with the last week. I've been sticking to it. Today is the streaming thing, which starts Friday, Saturday,
What
Sunday.
game are you streaming tonight?
It'll be Batman Arkham Origins because we started that, but
Nice.
then I only did it
Yeah.
once. But we're doing that. God of War. Yeah, man. So that's good. I was going to say something else about. Oh, also, I changed my sleeping pattern round from 7 a.m. till 11. I
Mm.
changed it to 10 in the morning to 2 in the morning
What?
because, yeah. So now I stay up till 2 in the morning, but I get up at 10. And the reason
What?
why. See, that's like, I'm still living the same amount of hours in
I
a
know
day,
you
right?
are. Yeah, fine.
Um,
Yeah.
but I just found that when I get up at 7 in the morning, I don't like it takes me like a slow morning, a couple of hours to kind of like eat my breakfast, maybe get ready, like do so. And I was like, if I just when at nighttime, I like wake up and I can go till 3 in the morning just like working and stuff. So for if I have more dark hours and I have less light hours, maybe I'll have more time in my day where it's dark, where I'll just feel like
Well,
a creative kind of
the
thing.
reason you feel shit when you wake up at the moment at 7 a.m. is because it's still dark. That's the issue. So
Mm,
it's the same. Like it'll probably be. I think everyone's sleeping patterns should change from summer to winter. Genuinely a big believer in this. Like I'll sleep in probably till like 7 in the winter, half 7. But
wow, so generous.
in the summer, like I'll be up at 6 because I'm like, oh,
Mm,
it's sunny, it's bright. Like I want to crack on with my day, and like I'll go to sleep at
mm,
10. But yeah, like in the winter, I just want to hibernate more, and I don't want to get out of bed, and because it's dark and all that kind of stuff. So
mm.
when it's not getting light till 8 a.m., it's tough
It's
to
so
be up. You know.
Yeah, it's so interesting though because I think you're a lot more susceptible to the light, whereas I feel like me, when it starts going dark, that's when I start like
Do you know
putting
why?
my music on. I start
You
like
know.
getting comfortable, and I'm like, right, let's get this 3D done, man.
Yeah, no,
Uh,
it's because the only light in your life is your computer screen. That's why.
and
Yeah,
Steph.
and Steph, of course.
Yeah.
But nice, man. Sounds like a
But
good week, though.
yeah, well, I think it's just like that. If that's possible, and you can do that as a freelancer, technically, if you
Then
don't have,
why the fuck not, mate?
if you have no clients, then you can do
Yeah.
that.
You
You just
you
wake up
are
whenever.
the boss of your own life, so
Literally, yeah.
do as you wish, my friend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but there'll be people listening that understand that where they'll feel
Yeah,
the same
yeah.
because I think you try and force like, oh man, getting up at 7 or like thing, and then you realize eventually you're like, I feel better after 5 p.m. So maybe I
Mm.
should just like make more hours in the evening instead of in the morning kind of thing. So it's been
We've
going
all
well,
we've all
honestly.
got 24 hours, mate. Do as you please with them, you know.
Okay, Molly May.
Yeah. Okay. Is that what she said? Lol.
Yeah, it was like a
Okay.
viral meme.
Okay. Nice.
What about
Anyway,
you? How's your week, bro? How's
I
your
had
week?
my first shoots back of the year, which was good. Like I thought it was going to take a little longer to blow off the cobwebs, but half an hour into the shoot,
Mm.
I got used to it. And was back into a rhythm again. The first location we did was really sick. It was at this retro boxing club in East London. So that was a sick shoot. And then the day after, we were shooting in like a really dark, dingy bar underground, like off the Strand in London.
Mm.
And that was harder to shoot in, but that location was chosen much more for video production. But yeah, fun 2 days on set. Always a good crew. Always a good time. So yeah, man, it just like, and I went for some drinks after with some like work friends that I know from an agency, which was really nice. I texted Yaz after. I was like, I finally feel like I've got some workmates.
Community.
Community, which is nice. But yeah, so anyway, yeah, that was good. But afterwards, I just felt wiped, like drained socially. But no, man, nice to get back on set. Nice to have the team around me. Good to work with Eden again, my assistant, and get into a rhythm and kickstart the year. So, yep. And then chilled weekend.
Was that using Cape? Was that Cape Town? You mentioned it on the previous episode where you.
No. That wasn't in Cape. I'm traveling to Cape Town.
Oh, sorry. No.
I'm going to Milan after South Africa.
Fully out, mate. Okay, right. Because last time.
So yeah, I haven't gone anywhere yet, Cameron. I'm still in England.
Right.
Still in
because you said
England.
it was in London, of course. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, it was in London. So
I was thinking that the first two shoots of the month were in different like countries. Okay.
No. So yeah. So
I promise I was listening. I promise.
No, I know you were. Don't you worry. So back at the desk today, I've got a meeting after this call, and then I've got a mentoring session that I'm doing with someone, and then I've got some photos to edit, some DMs to get back to, emails to get back to, lots to get sorted before the weekend. Chilled weekend with family. It's my niece's first birthday. I'm very excited for that.
Oh, wow. Already? Bloody hell.
Yeah, I know already, which is crazy. I can't wait to see her. And then we're looking at a wedding venue on Monday. Ball rolling. It's all happening nice and quick. So, and then I fly to South Africa on Tuesday. So it's all go.
Oh my god,
it's all go.
Do you you're going to spend a few days as well in South Africa, I think.
After so I've got to go. I'm going to fly to Cape Town. Then I've got to transfer. I've got to go to Johannesburg. Then I'm in Johannesburg for a few days. Then I fly back from Johannesburg back to Cape Town, and then I'm in Cape Town for a couple of days. I put a DM up. I put a story up just asking if there are any creatives or photographers that want to show me around. I'm in Cape Town for a couple of days. I want to see some sites. Mate, I had like 50 plus DMs, and I've got to get back to them all. But there's one photographer who's really sick who I already followed, and he messaged me. So I think I'm going to hang with him on the Monday, which would be really nice. And then I need to go through the DMs and get back to some people. But I'm looking forward to seeing somewhere new. I think it's like 32 degrees where we're shooting. Like,
oh my god,
hot.
Yeah.
So
I imagine it being like very out in the air as well. I don't know why, but when I hear Johannesburg, I just imagine like open sky. Like,
maybe
there's no like.
We're out an hour outside of Johannesburg in like a slightly different place. So yeah, I'm obviously my first time in South Africa, first time in Africa actually. So just in general as a continent. So yeah, looking forward to it. And yeah, should we get into the topic?
Yeah.
Today's show is all about the psychology of being a freelancer. I think we mentioned it in the last show, but I think it's as we're coming into Jan as well. Morale might be feeling low, and it's a good chance and good time to speak on the topic because I think it's one of the most important parts of being a freelancer is kind of understanding the psychology. I'm not a psychologist for those listening, and neither is Cameron. This is just us speaking on our experience over the last 7 to 8 years and kind of our experiences and how we think, mindset is important and all that kind of stuff. So do you want to kick us off, or shall I?
I'll kick us off.
Okay, go for it.
Because so one of the things that I want to talk about and is important to me is I feel like belief is one of the main things, and there's a few types of it, right? There's belief in not only your own skill and your ability, but also belief in terms of how much you can charge or what's actually acceptable or like the way things work. And so for me, in my experience, I'm someone who has more belief like in my skills, but I'm not someone that like kind of voices it. It's more like my work speaks for itself, and I think that's probably why I'm a little bit more attuned to learning software or computers and stuff, is because it's easier to just sit on your own and get on with it, and no one kind of needs to see if you're putting in effort or not. It's like,
Yeah.
well, I can do this thing, so clearly this was hard to do. So,
Mm.
so with that, I think one of the things I've learned through freelancing is that I had that side of it, but I never had like the I don't want to say like the confidence side, but I thought things worked a certain way, and then through experience, I realized that actually it is kind of a little bit more free game,
Yeah.
and I think that's probably something that I would want to say to freelancers at the moment is, well, new ones especially, is that there isn't really like a set price for what you charge. Like there's a general thing, but like really, if you wanted to charge a lot, you could do. Like it's completely up to you. And then the way you work is kind of completely up to you. Like you can wake up at 10 a.m. and you can go to
Yeah.
bed at 2 a.m. if you want, like as long as you meet your deadlines and stuff. So I think things just are a lot more like, but I don't want to say like believe in
Fluid.
yourself. There's a lot more like, yeah, and like no one's. It's like I was talking to Mateo earlier this week, and we were talking kind of about this, and it's a bit like being in a relationship. Like you kind of know if like if you know what you want from the relationship, and if this doesn't really align with like you and your thing, then it's a bit like we're just not right for each other. And it's kind of the same thing with you're doing this thing, and it's like yeah, like this feels a little bit more right to me, like charging this much or working this way, or believing in your method of the way your creative process, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And that's something that took me a while to get to. So if there's anyone out there that's coming into the industry, I think belief is like a really big part of it. But it's unfortunately through experience, you learn that you should have just believed in yourself from the very beginning. You know
But
what I mean?
at the start, it's really funny because, so I think, I think to start with, you have taste and you're waiting for your skill set to catch up with your taste.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, that's the
And
thing that gets you into the craft in the first place, is that
yeah,
you know what looks good.
so you're seeing like these images or these videos or whatever it is, and you're like, I want to create something like that. And you've got good taste and you've got a good eye for stuff.
That is
But you're,
not how you think about it at the beginning, by the way.
no, but
No, at the beginning you go, I can make that. Why did they hire that guy when they should have hired me? That's how
no,
a lot of people
depends
think
how
about
self-aware you are. Depends how
it.
self-aware you are. But you have to have this unwavering trust that your skill set will catch up with your taste if you carry on and keep going.
Mm,
Because if you see something and you're like, I want to make something like that, and obviously it's not going to be at that level yet, being okay with that and being confident to try again and have this unwavering belief to keep going until you get there is a huge part of this believing in yourself at the very start. And everyone says like your skill set never quite catches up with your taste, but like it can get close. And
mm.
at the start, you have to have that kind of belief that you will get there and your skill set will drastically improve in the next year to the point where, you can be charging a lot more and doing these things. There's foolish belief, I think, in some people that their skill set is so off and they want to charge thousands of pounds for something that's like so not nearly there. And
Well, I
that's
think,
like more
yeah.
delusion than it is
Well, I
maybe.
think that will happen a few times though. I think, but I
Yeah,
think eventually the market or whoever will just be like,
we'll let you know.
you're not that good. Like, we're just
Yeah.
not going to hire you, kind of thing.
Which
Or
is
you
a
need to charge
lesson.
cheaper,
Yeah.
which is part of being the freelancer, right? Like, it's that
Yeah.
resilience and that belief. But yeah, I like what you said there with that. And you mentioned something which I can't remember what my response was going to be to it now, but I liked what you said. So
Yeah.
let's move on,
Okay.
because otherwise
Well,
we'll.
my next point is, what was I saying earlier? What was the next
Now
point?
Matt's
Yeah,
forgetting what you said.
no. So my next point is, I think that if you want to do well in this industry, you have to be a very self-motivated individual. And I think that you have to have good work ethic and you have to be willing to show up and put in the hours to really get out of it. Because if you're someone that is maybe quite like lazy or struggles to motivate themselves and get going, then I think that working for yourself and being your own boss, like that's something you'd have to improve on. But I like this quote, and it's, ask yourself, am I committed or am I motivated? And a mentor told this to me,
Yeah.
basically saying, because if you're committed, then your emotions are irrelevant. But if you're waiting to be motivated, it's like waiting for a bus. It might come some days it won't show up, it'll be late. if you're committed, your emotions and your motivation are so irrelevant. You're going to show up regardless.
Mm.
And I think you need to be one of those people that's able to do that, because don't get me wrong, like there's no way that like I'm committed to chasing my goals, but I don't wake up every single day and execute those goals every single day of the year. There are days where I'm ill, like it won't happen, but it's for holding myself with enough integrity and enough accountability to make sure that 90% of the days of the year I do that, and I will
Mm.
see progress at the end of the year. But I think that it's super interesting, and I mean the whole topic of psychology and confidence and self-motivation is fascinating. You can talk about it for hours, but I think if you want to thrive in this industry and you want to go far, you have to be an individual that can push themselves and can throw themselves even when they don't feel up for it, and they still show up.
Yeah, you also reminded me of this. I want to get your opinion on this because I think it fits nicely into what you're talking about. I'm just going to share my screen real quick. But it's this, how consistency, what the heck, where is it? Here we go. It's how consistency also doesn't really look like doing the same amount every day. Like, as you said, like showing up.
Yeah,
By the way, I just pulled this image off Google real quick. I don't know where it's going.
that's a
But
nice analogy.
yeah, it's like instead of consistency is more like you fill your cup every day, but sometimes your cup's full, sometimes your cup is like a little bit empty, sometimes your cup is mid-range, and then other times it's full and empty again. And the whole point is like you're not gonna be able to do the same amount of like effort and input
Every
every
day.
single day, but at least you turn up. And I think that reminds me of like when Ronaldo was talking about like there's an interview where he talks about like doing the gym every day, and he's like, I don't want to go to the gym every day.
Mm.
But it's like, yeah, but I bet he doesn't also kill himself every day either. He goes in there, maybe sometimes he just does some stretching and leaves.
Yeah,
Like I wonder if there's like a
no, for
um
sure.
like a variable to it.
You have to be
And
willing to show up regularly, right?
yeah,
It's not
yeah,
hard, but didn't you
yeah.
have a counterpoint to my point that I just made?
Oh, with the motivation.
Yeah,
Yeah. So well, I think about it a little. It obviously people are different, but I'm speaking for myself where I feel like when you're motivated, you're usually the word work is working is doing something that you don't want to do, but you kind of have to do it, or
mm.
like there's another reason to do it. Whereas motivation kind of comes from things that you do want to do, and so if you're not motivated, it's probably because you're you're not probably not doing something that you want to do. Like that, I think I said it better earlier when I was talking to you
No,
about it, but
it makes sense. My counter to that though is that in any job you do, I absolutely adore being a photographer, but I'm still not going to be motivated to do my accounts or do some outreach or reply to my DM. Do you know what I mean? Like I can't
true, well,
like
yeah, but that's part. That's like that's like variables within the thing that you're doing. Like if you want to be a photographer, if you want to be freelance, there's just things that come with it. But you're still motivated to be a photographer. You
yes,
know,
but that
so
doesn't mean that
you might not be
I'm probably
motivated
only
for the
shooting
task.
30% of my time. Like there are still so many
Okay, right.
tasks that I don't feel motivated to do, but I still have to show up and do them because I know that it will help with my career. Do you know what I mean? So no matter I've got to be
Okay.
committed to them no matter how I feel.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's fine, but I mean that's a pretty good argument to be fair, Matt.
Yeah, yeah. So
But yeah, I think no matter what you do, though, there are those
like you
elements to
love
it. But
3D, right? You want to be a 3D freelancer like full
mm,
time and be able to do that. You're still gonna have to do outreach. Like you're still gonna have to like
yeah, but I'm motivated to do it though because I know that
it
it's
helps
kind
the
of
bigger
part.
picture.
Yeah, it's kind of
Okay.
part of it. Like
Yeah,
even though I
yeah.
don't want to do it, I'm still like, yeah, let's go. Whereas I'm not like, well, I mean, do you procrastinate? I guess you do, but
We all do,
like,
right? But
yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
So, but I guess like with the motivation as well, it's a bit more like if you think about when we first started. I don't know, like there's that quote as well from Mark Cuban where he says, usually when people want to do something, they don't kind of like wait for someone to like give them the information or tell them how to do it. The people who are actually motivated to do it will just go out and figure it out. Like they don't ask other people, they just source the information on their own
Yeah.
and get experience. And I think it's kind of the same way where, and I think this is where people's like personality traits or whatever might differ, where some people might need a little bit of a kick to get into freelance, or they might need a little bit of a kick to pursue like their hobby and turn it into like a business or whatever. But other people just kind of get on with it. And I like with this side of things, with what we were talking about with belief and like motivation and like your business and freelance. I think that I have the belief that like this is actually the way it's supposed to be. You're actually supposed to not get paid when you don't work and get paid when you do work, and there's like variables to it, like maybe sometimes you have these months. And I think the full-time job thing is it's almost like that is the thing that's actually quite strange. And I think that's really helpful because it almost sets you up for like, well, yeah, like everything is kind of like it's not really stable. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's almost normal that whatever you do in
You get out what you put in.
exactly, yeah. Like I feel like that's a little bit more of a normal way to think about it. And so maybe that I don't want to say stifles my expectation, but maybe that just changes the way I think about it, and maybe that's why the
Interesting.
motivation's like, well, you know, you just do it if you want to, and not do it if you don't want to.
I liked what you're saying
You know,
about how, different people start because they just want to do it, so they crack on, or other people need something to happen in their life where to get
mm,
started. It might be like they have a really bad experience at work, they end up resigning, and it's like, right, I'm finally going to go
mm.
freelance.
Oh, that's a good
But
point.
but
Yeah.
I think that the biggest cause, and I'm quite bad for this, and I think most of us are, we get in our own way so much, and so many people I've spoke to on mentoring calls that have like, oh, like I want to make the jump, or I want to do this, or I want to post more on social. The excuses that we've all got for ourselves is we're just getting in our own way. We talk ourselves out of it. Like it comes back to me doing the YouTube, right? Or at least in my first video, and it's like, oh well, the audio isn't good enough and the edit isn't good enough and that frame wasn't quite good enough, so you know what, I'm not going to post it, or I don't have a good enough camera to do that, or I don't have a good enough camera to do this, or I don't have the right lens to shoot that, or I don't have the right microphone if I want to do social content, or whatever it is. Like, it's so easy for us to just like make excuses to talk ourselves out of doing said thing. And I think it's the same when people like want to do this as a, obviously it's a big jump, like moving to freelance, but you know, it's so easy with so many different parts of this job to talk yourself out of it. Like, cool, if I want more eyes on my work, what's the best way for me to do that for free? Is 1000% posting yourself and your work on social media. It doesn't have to be yourself, just putting yourself out there. And then people talk themselves out of that. Oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to become an influencer, whatever. It's free marketing. But
Mm.
like, there are so many like things that people want, but they talk themselves out of it. And I'm guilty as that, like for that as well. And that's something that I'm determined to do with like my first YouTube video coming out, just because the camera isn't great and the framing might not be great and it might be a little blurred or whatever. Like it doesn't matter. Like it's so much better to post and get into the rhythm of posting and not talking yourself out of it. And I think, again, that's another psychological part of this career, is so many times we can talk ourselves out of doing things, and we're essentially like our own worst enemy in so many ways.
I like how you spoke about that, and then it just made me remember how the other day you was like, "Bro, why is it so blurry on my video?" I'm like, "Did you shoot on your phone?" Like,
Yeah, I'm shooting on my phone. I don't care. Like,
yeah. But it's just funny how like even you was like noticing that it's a bit blurry or whatever, and you're
yeah.
just like yeah,
I
but
think
you do get lost in the details when you're doing stuff like that.
you
Like you
do,
start, yeah, but
especially
it's
when
because you care as well.
yeah, it's
You know,
because you care.
yeah.
And I don't think I'd clean the lens on my phone. So
Classic phone mistake
yeah,
where you take a
classic
picture and
phone.
it's like all flary.
Yeah. But no, I think that's really important. What's
Mm.
next?
Uh, I also I did want to jump back real quick, only 5 seconds,
Go on.
to when you mentioned about people with the different personality traits. You made me realize as well that some people probably do need like to be forced into it, like they leave their job or they don't like it and like they want to, something's what's that? Chris Williamson talks about it where he says that
A
sometimes
point of no
things,
return.
not a point of no return, but it's something seesaw, and it's like where, and a good example of this is like work or a relationship where things are like not so bad that you actually like take action to do something about it. It's like, oh yeah, the relationship or the job isn't that good, but it's good most of the time, or like, oh yeah, it's comfortable. Whereas
Yeah.
some people would actually be better if they're like that it's terrible, and then it'll force them to kind of like take action and do like a bit of the lift.
I think
Um,
that was me at the
More of a
start of my
personality thing,
career,
yeah.
because when I finished uni, handed my dissertation in, literally moved to London the next day, sold my car to pay for rent with a friend, and was like, right, I've got nothing to lose, I've got no money, I'm crashing with a friend, I've got 3 months worth of money or 3 months worth of rent to figure this thing out, and it's going to be so embarrassing
God,
if
we were
like
literally almost
if
identical.
yeah, and it's going to be so embarrassing if I don't. Like,
Yeah.
I'm posting online and like I'm like, yeah, I'm a photographer now and I've moved to London. I've got
Mm,
no choice but to make it work. I'm living off bread and beans and it's got to work. And if it doesn't, then I'm going to look
yeah,
stupid. My parents can be like, "Ha, I told you so." And I'm going to have to move back in with them. And it's
yeah,
like don't get me wrong, I was never going to end up on the street, so it's not the end of the world, but I put myself in a position where it's like, cool, I've got to jump and make it happen now, because if I
mm,
don't, I'm going to be stuck in a job that I don't like. and doing something that I don't love or enjoy. So I put myself in that position. We weren't even finished uni yet. I handed my dissertation in. We graduated like in the summer. I moved to like London and Dav handed my diss in. We hadn't even
What
finished
month
yet.
did you move? What month did you?
It was like May, April.
Of 20.
Oh, I don't know, man.
You don't remember what year?
2018, 20. We were looking through my journals the other day, and me and Yaz found the journal entry of my first week in London. And it was like, I hate it here. I miss home. I miss my family. I miss my dog.
Okay.
Like, I was like, this is such a horrible place to be. I felt so lonely. And it's so interesting, like opening your journals and like reading shit like that from like 2017.
Yeah. The uncertainty as well of
No idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
Naive. How am I going to find work? It was just you just figure it out and stumble away, and yeah, it's.
I moved on the 2nd of June 2018. So if you moved in May, we were
just before it, and
just
we would have never known.
Apart, bro.
Yeah,
no, wow,
we would never have known. But yeah, well, I want to come on to the next topic that I want to speak about.
Okay,
so psychology of being a freelancer. I think that you have to be able to take feedback well and rejection well.
Mm-hmm.
Such a big part of it. Such a big part of it. Like, you know, and I say this so often as an example. It's just because what I was doing when I first started. But you know, you'd message 50 models a day. Please, can I shoot with you for my portfolio, free of charge? Would love to collaborate, whatever. And like 49 people will ignore you or not get back to you. That's part of the game. And it didn't seem to. Some people asked me, they were like, "Doesn't that really like hurt your feelings?" It's like, when it was on social media, it doesn't bother me. Me sending a DM to someone and them ignoring it doesn't bother me. Obviously, like if I said something to someone in the street and they ignored me, I'd be like, right, okay, bit weird. But like, I think because it's social media, like, I have tougher skin about that. Like, I don't care if I get ignored, or I don't care. It's not the same as having to walk up to someone random in a street and say, please, will you let me photograph you? That's harder.
Oh.
So for me, it was just like, yeah, like absolutely, like that doesn't bother me. And getting ignored by brands and all that kind of stuff, like it is what it is. And I just thought, if it's not meant for me yet, it's not going to happen. I'm a big believer in like what's meant for you won't pass you, the universe, like all that kind of stuff. I believe in all that. So I think that, you know, when the job is right for you, it will come to you. And I think that what.
I was just laughing at it because it's like, yeah, it's just very stoic, but also very like. So I think what you're talking about, like, I do resonate with, but I resonate with it in terms of, like, when you're first starting out, you feel like you're trying to like grasp like work that's like flying past you. Like, imagine you're like you're stood still and a car's going past, and you've got to try and grab like the work out of the car as it goes past. Like, you're trying to just like grab anything that you can get hold of, and. Because rejection, I think it was a different time with social media back then, where it was a lot more potent. Like, if you did get ignored on social media, you was a bit like, why are they ignoring me? Whereas nowadays, social media is a bit more disconnected from us than it used to be. But with the feedback side, I used to really take it personal when someone would give me feedback, especially because it's your creative work, it's all this, but there is also like a disconnect eventually that you have where you have your personal project, which is the stuff you really care about, and then there's the stuff that you get paid for by clients where obviously you care about it, but there is this disconnection of almost seeing it as like a service and you're doing it like for their benefit compared to you making it from like your soul. And that was something that I find was learned. And some people, I know people that I still find that difficult.
Yeah.
You know?
But and I get it, because you're so attached to the way you create. It's a personal part of you, you know, it's a part of who you are. But yeah, I don't mind it too much. I think it probably would affect me more if it was a personal project and I asked someone to rip it apart, because that's like you put everything into that. But when it's like stuff for a brand and stuff, it's not necessarily the way that you would do it, right? So it's, you know, a brand ticking exercise. They want stuff shot in a certain way. It's their creative brief, etc., etc. For me, it's more like feedback of how I could have been better on set. Is there a way I could have communicated? Is there a way I could have communicated better? Is there a way that I can, you know, like improve who I am as a photographer? And I think probably one of the biggest points, and that's the final point we'll chat about, is silence being part of the job and uncertainty being part of the job and being okay with that. Over the years, I've
Mm.
got better to be okay with that. And there are different things, you have in place that help. For example, the uncertainty, you might have a really busy 3 months and then all of a sudden 3 months it's really quiet. Having things like an emergency fund or a business buffer with money in your business account so that I know if I've got 4 months of no work, I'm relaxed. I don't mind. I can still use my time effectively to do test shoots, whatever, and
Mm.
not stress about money. Whereas if I don't have that in place, you're grabbing at every job you can, like you were saying, and you're like panicking and you'll do anything for money within reason. And and like that uncertainty can be really, really hard to deal with. So there's that side of it, the up and down and the constant waves of jobs, especially when you start out. And the other part is the silence. Getting used to being your own boss, but usually working on your own. You might have one shoot a week, and that's the only day that you interact with people. Other than that, you're cooped up in
Yeah.
your house on your own. You might have flatmates, don't get me wrong, whatever. But like for me, I'm at home Monday to Friday on my own at the moment while Yaz works in London. So I'm on my own in this house all day and I'm in my office all day. So it's important for me to deal with those silences for my own mental health and my confidence and how good I feel creatively in terms of workability, ideas that come to me, etc. It's important for me to jump on a call with Cameron or go to a cafe and work with another creative or just go into London for one day and chat to mates and catch up with other photographers and speak to them and go back and forth about the pains of the industry and what's happened in our shoots recently. Like I went for drinks last night with a bunch of people from Ogilvy and I had such a laugh and it was great because we all understand the different problems we all face.
Mm.
So that's so important as well in terms of dealing with the silence and the uncertainty. They're two massive parts of our industry that kind of go off the radar, I think, and people probably don't think about. Like, oh yeah, I'm going to go freelance. Well, you have to get used to being on your own, and you're gonna have to get used to working on your own. You're gonna have to get used to not knowing when the next paycheck's going to come in, and there are ways of mitigating, but it's all part of that journey, and you need to get used to it.
Yeah. It's also just part of the. It's like the more well, you just get used to it
You do get
as
used to it over
well.
time,
Yeah.
yeah. And then, like I say, there's ways to cope, like reaching out to people, communicating with people. Whether
Cope.
it's no, but ways to
Yeah.
cope, ways to
Yeah.
thrive. Then, or whatever you want to call it. Like some people love being on their own, right, and they don't mind that. I'm someone that likes to interact with people.
I'm
So for
waving. I'm
me,
waving right now
yeah.
for anyone that can't
So
see.
for me, like we went from an office with a bunch of different creatives, and now that's no
Mm.
longer in our lives. And I used to love going in every day and like chatting to people about ideas and all that kind of stuff. I think that in fact I'm probably way more efficient now with how much work I get done than I was then. I remember when we joined that office and I was like, yeah, like I feel like people working around me, I feel like I'm working harder. But when I compare to how harder I work now compared to then, it's a joke. And I think we probably distracted each other
I
quite a
have
bit.
a. Oh mate, we used to speak all the time. I have a
Yeah.
picture of you sat like asleep, just like at your chair like this. And it's like,
Working hard. But that was
yeah.
it was good times. It was good times. But yeah, I think being psychologically prepared for that if you are jumping into freelance, but also if you are already freelancer, there are methods and ways to cope or thrive, however you want to look at it, that are, and I think we've spoken about them on the show before, but it's just something to bear in mind. And I think it's a
Mm.
tough thing for this industry, especially in
Yeah.
winter, man. Fucking hell.
Yeah, well, I also, with that, like from my experience, like I don't, thinking back, I'm not very good at thinking back to how I felt or my experience in at the time, but I
Mm.
don't remember ever feeling, and I'm more introverted, so maybe that's why, but I don't remember feeling like bothered about the silence. But what it helped me with was I always stayed busy, and I don't know whether that was a
Coping
cope.
mechanism.
I,
Yeah.
I, I don't know whether that was a thriving mechanism as Matt says.
Yeah.
But it does make me think that I wonder, yeah, like that different thing about how some people like you notice the silence, whereas I don't think I did. I think I was almost so overwhelmed maybe with trying to get work that I was constantly doing something that kind of like drowned out that silence, maybe, you know, just
Yeah.
kind of different
Well,
experience, but the same thing, but with a different experience, you know?
well, I
Mm.
think the issue is, so I moved out of home when I was 18. I went to uni. Straight away, I'm in halls, 6 people in one corridor, one
Mm.
bathroom, one toilet, one shower.
God. Yeah.
And then I go from that to moving in with a group of lads. I then live with a group
Mm.
of mates and lads for what, 8 years, 9 years, nearly 10 years or whatever. So yeah, 10 years. So going from living with mates for 10 years and a big
Oh, I
group of lads
see. I
to then
see.
like
Yeah.
being on, like living on my own.
Oh, you're talking about
And
now. I see. Okay. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
yeah, like I don't, it
Yeah.
doesn't
Okay.
bother me as much now because I think I had that time to slowly get used to it. Like, yes, I would
Mm.
live with a group of lads. Two of, well, mostly they would all go to work, or like one of them might work from home. So I would see someone at lunch for a cup of tea and some food, but that
Mm.
was it, which was nice to have a conversation with someone.
Wow.
But now I don't
Mm.
have a conversation with anyone all day. Like, you've got Steph at home, so like you'll see her and you'll have lunch with her and you'll chat with
Uh,
her. So that's why I'm looking forward to Yaz to start working from home, because
mm.
you can have breakfast with someone, you can have lunch with someone, you know, and there's like someone around. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I go to my parents for dinner. They're only down the road, and you know, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So,
I never thought about that because I moved out of my parents and then
mm,
moved to London. So I went from basically being kind of, you know, my own room and like, you know, you live
yeah,
at your parents, you're basically in your own world anyway when you're
yeah,
at your parents. And then moved to London and I had to live with people and
mm,
I had to I recreated my environment like living in like I would
yeah,
stay in my room and I was
yeah.
just like
You
I enjoyed
literally,
my own
your
space.
room,
Yeah.
Cam's room was the top of the house, the very top, and like that was his den, his headquarters,
Yeah.
his, you know, and war room. It was his war room, and
Yeah.
like just would never come out. And but you're an only child, so like
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm one of 3 brothers, so I was always playing with my brothers growing up. I always had like someone to fight with, or play football with, or play games with, or play Xbox with. Whereas you've always done that on your own anyway, so I don't think it's any different for you. You know?
Yeah. Well, that I think that's what I'm getting to, where it's also like that self motivated thing and like doing all the what we spoke about this episode. Maybe that's also because I've always had to kind of just do stuff on my own anyway. So maybe
Yeah.
that plays into it. I was going to say something about I can't remember what the last part was now about me living in a. Oh yeah, Steph says that I'm not very good at sharing.
Well,
Am
that's
I
an
right?
only child thing.
In my
That's an only child thing.
relationship? Yeah.
That's an only child
Um.
thing for
So
sure.
I obviously unfair advantages. That's what I wanted to say. Like
Yeah.
I think a lot of us have unfair advantages with you know what we do. Whether it is that you can move back home to your parents if everything goes completely to crap,
Mm.
and other people won't be able to do that, but you will be able to do something else.
Anyway, on that note, if you made it this far, folks, thank you so much for listening to the Late Invoices show. We appreciate it
Mm.
very much. Very, very
Yeah.
muchly. Very much. That's bad English. And we'll hopefully see you for episode 103 coming soon. Have a great weekend. Actually, you'll be
Hopefully.
hearing this on Tuesday. Have a great week. Guys, when you listen to this, I'll be touching down in South Africa, ready to take some cool photos, hopefully. So I'll let you know how
Yeah.
that
Oh.
goes. And I'll
I
see
thought he was
you.
going to be like ready to take this olive skin to a slightly darker shade of olive.
I'm pretty pasty at the moment. I'm
Yeah,
ready for
you're
a
almost
tan.
as white as me, bro. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I'm ready
quite
for a
bad.
tan. But yeah, we'll see you in the next episode. Peace out.
Bye, guys.